Hello and welcome back to another video. In this one I would like to cover the Elrond testnet. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this. So I went ahead and cloned an image of the virtual desktop environment that we were using in the prior videos. And I'm going to go ahead and use that clone, and I made this testnet. That's what we'll be working on for this example. So I'll go ahead and fire this up. And for this video, we're going to be closely following the documentation that's on the Elrond documentation site. So the documentation can be found here, and I'll post this in the comment section down below. There we are. And so we'll be following these here. So I'll go ahead and fire up Visual Studio Code. Alright. Let's create a new window for this example here. Open up the terminal. Okay. Okay, looks like it's working there. So, if we follow this tutorial here, it says to pretty much run this command. So, you can actually step by step see the commands here. So if I look for the help, you can see that there's a testnet flag or option here. So if I go ahead and branch into that one, or you can see that prerequisites is an option to select here. I don't think there's more to that than that. Looks like there's an option for a config file. So I guess you can add that. But for now, we'll just do as the instructions here says to do. And that should go out and fetch all the install files we need. Now the purpose of a testnet is you can spin up a local blockchain on this instance, this computer I'm working on that I'm demoing for you. Instead of always having to create a smart contract, deploy it to the Elrond network out in the internet, or even their dev or test nets, you can actually deploy it locally on your own computer's blockchain that you spin up. That makes turnaround time a little bit quicker. Plus, you know, you can pretty much create to your heart's content since it's your own local isolated sandbox, if you will. And you can pretty much have all the funds that you need to constantly deploy, update your contracts, and pretty much do the whole development life cycle. Another thing too is it says that to make sure your erdpy versions on this version are higher. So to check that, we pretty much do, I think, flag v, so 2.00, so we should be tip-top shape. Then here you can see that it's going to configure erdpy to use your local testnet rather than always calling out to the devnet or testnet or mainnet prod. And we usually can tell that too. I think we look at it. So as you can see right now out of the gate, erdpy, well, my instance of erdpy in this clone is set to use the testnet. And that's symbolized here by this capital T when you run this command. See? And the devnet is just devnet gateway.elrond.com, and the mainnet, I believe we can find this info on the documentation here too. So I think we can look for that. Right there. So that's under constants. Right there. And there we go. So mainnet is a 1, T and D as you see. So we'll continue on here. Let's go ahead and use a local instance. I always do that. Guess I have to trust that it's going to use the local testnet. And setting up your local host, because once we fire this up, we're going to have it use local port 7950. So we're going to make our own directory here. So now, here's where it gets a little bit confusing. They created a file on Linux by the touch command, but this here is kind of deceiving because you think once you create the file that this is the entire file's contents, when really this is still the file name and this is actually the contents. So I'll go ahead and do this. That's a little bit deviating from the documentation there. And copy this into there. Alright, quit. Looks like it's good, and while I'm at it, might as well open the directory to here. There we are. There we go. So you can see that. And that. Okay, looking good. Alright, so now we're already inside the directory, as you can see here. Plus present working directory. Yep. Now it says to run this configure command. This will pretty much start setting up your folder with everything it needs for to run the testnet. It kind of runs this automated script, and I think I can show you this real quick here. It is Elrond SDK. Let's see. In fact, I think it's actually discussed in the advanced feature or advanced testnet documentation. Elrond, oh, it's in the Go. There we are. Since Elrond's blockchain is coded in Golang, I think it may be scripts. Yeah, testnet. And there it is. So these are all the scripts that it actually will go through to set up your folder with all the environment variables. Alright, so we'll go ahead and run it. Looks like a bunch of errors here, but it did create a folder there. You can see it created all these test users and test accounts and coins and stuff that's in there. But now it says to just go ahead and start it, which I don't believe it'll work since we got all these output errors. Now I actually ran through this prior to doing the video to make sure I got this down pat before doing the tutorial. But I'll show you what all this means. But the reason why I left this intact to show you is you may encounter this similar issue, and to save you the struggles and to show you some of the troubleshooting that I've done too, so maybe you can add that to your repertoire or to your tool belt of, troubleshooting techniques here. But all of this error output means it shouldn't work when I run this testnet, since something didn't like something. So as you can see, a bunch more errors came up and the testnet's not running, because when you spin up a test node, you'll start to see all the line by line logs to indicate that the testnet is up and running. But as you can see, it's not working. So let's just do a quick little search here. I knew I had an article that I actually posted. But anyway, what ended up being the issue was um, it was actually a version of erdpy. So where is the change log? Here it is. Releases. So you can see here, fix erdpy test config. That was the issue I was encountering. So anyway, in order for us to resolve that, we had to install erdpy again. So we pretty much just ran this command. And before I run that, just going to run this out of home directory. Let's see if this will run. So it looks like we got some updates going on here. Alright. What version are we on now? 2.01. So that should match. Yep. Alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean this folder up here. And as you can see, just the config ran all the errors. So I'm going to run this command again. Okay, that doesn't look like it liked it. Let's see if it starts. Nope, doesn't like it. Maybe I have to exit here and see if this will work. Nope. Maybe close in and out. Let's see if this works. Guess not. Okay, so what do we got here? Maybe we just have to run everything from scratch again. Let's see. Okay, let's clean it. Alright. Let's just do this again. This looks a little different than before. Alrighty, let's try it again. Config. That looks a lot better, looks promising. Different output, no errors. Liking that. Now it may take some time, so we'll just let this run and do its thing. Looks like it's setting up all the environment variables here. It's downloading a bunch of stuff. Oh wow, HashiCorp. Alright, so we got that. Let's try and now start it. There we go, that looks good. So it's gonna set up the testnet. And I believe there's a couple of smart contracts that gets deployed while it's doing its thing here. I'm sure have a little bit more time and some research, we can figure out what those smart contracts are. It's probably some of the fundamental building blocks in the Elrond network. But it's pretty much setting up the Genesis block, I believe. Alright, so that looks like it's up and going while that spins up. What's the next step here? So it looks like it says to send a test transaction, and they're using one of the sample wallets that was installed when we ran the erdpy testnet config command. I think we can also test, dang it, we can also test it out here, see if I can see it. Whoops. Alright. Looks like the testnet's not up and running yet. Like you can see one of my requests actually, I think. Interesting. I think we may be ready to test here. But I remember there was a way to see when it's up and running. There it is. The ports are open. So let's test it out. Could have sworn there was a way to. Hmm. So we'll go ahead and try this out. And before I do that, let's see. Sandbox. Actually, maybe there is a wallet in there. Elrond SDK. Test wallets. Latest. Users. Alice. Right there. So, yeah, that path exists. So let's see if this works. There we are. You can see the chain is local testnet. Sender and receiver addresses. Transaction hash is right here. So they actually have that same thing right there. There it is. So localhost, it's in JSON format. You see all the info. It should pretty much match what we see here. You can also do a curl to it. Looks like I don't have curl set up on this, so that won't work. But we can use the erdpy to see that transaction. So get a transaction hash. I believe this is the one. So if we go erdpy, transaction tx. Just take this get. Gotta use the get. And there it is. You'll notice that this will be the same hash as the one in the instructions. I guess the hash value is the same since it's generating the same info, but let's change it up a bit. Let's go ahead and do this. So get a transaction hash, set the nonce to 2, 6. Nonce that. Signature, roll 2. Didn't give us anything here. Wonder if there doesn't like this here. Nope. It's really interesting. Not sure entirely why it doesn't like one and not the other. Hmm. I guess it doesn't like too many spaces? I don't know. That's weird, huh? There we are. Let's take a look at Alice's info here. See if this is listed on the testnet too. It was actually an account. Get transactions. There we are. There we go. Well, there we go. So we pretty much set that up. And at this point, you can pretty much set up and design your smart contracts and also deploy it on your testnet there. So go ahead and give that a go. I'll just use this quick example here. Alrighty. There we are. Okay. So I think this is actually telling it to use all these configurations that will trump the testnet, local testnet here. So let's see if I can get away with doing this and just maybe renaming it to old. Alright. Contract deploy. Let's see. Or we'll build it first. Hmm. It's a bit redundant. Just installing some Rust dependencies here with the crates IO. Alright, so I think it finished. Let's see if this will work. Looks like need some info here. Borrow some code here. Now I'm just gonna spaghetti code all this. Alright, contract address. Let's see if this worked. Page not found. Transaction hash. Well, that's odd, isn't it? Let's see. Maybe you can just hack this right here. Let's try this again. Actually, it should. Hmm. Oh, that's weird. Let's see. Try and hack this again. Ping pong, ping pong. Okay. Copy that into here. So, let's see. Right, so let's see. All right. And there it is. So we just went ahead and deployed our smart contract there, and if we just follow through, source, config, carry on. So you just have to put the contract address there. Hopefully it's smart enough to know it's on the testnet, local testnet, not the one out on the internet, but we'll give that a go, I guess, huh? All right. There we go. Yeah, I think at this point, the application is set to use the Elrond testnet instead of the local net. So I think if you come in through here and kind of dig around, I think you may be able to figure out how to configure the application to connect directly to your local blockchain versus the local testnet rather than the one on the internet. But we could clearly see that the contract that we did deploy is on our local testnet. Well, I hope that was helpful. I know that when I was trying to run through this by myself, I ran into all these issues. So hopefully, this tutorial helped you out in that aspect when trying to spin up a local testnet, so that way you can quickly deploy smart contracts and to test it out on your local system rather than having to connect out to the internet to do it. But if you have any questions or comments, please fill it out in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. If you have any recommendations, feel free to leave that as well. And be sure to like, subscribe to the video and the channel, and hit the notification bell and let you know if there's any new videos that comes out. I think the next video after this one I'm planning to do is going on to the devnet instance of the MyAir exchange and using erdpy to pretty much replicate all the things that we do on the MyAir exchange. So I believe that is the address there. So pretty much everything that we do on here, entering the farms and interacting with the smart contracts on this web application, I'll show you how to extrapolate that information from the data, the message region of the transaction, um, interpreting that and replicating it on erdpy. So if this site ever goes down or something happens, you can interact with the smart contracts that has all your funds locked up in the farms without the dependency of this web page. You could do it all from your erdpy right here. And yeah, Thanks again, and have a good one. Talk to you all later. Cheers. Bye-bye.